everyone, I'm out walking with Lila, as you can see. Hello, little Lila. And I just thought I'd take, well, I'm trying to take, there she goes. So I thought I'd take this opportunity to talk to you, but and now she's taking to lying down every once in a while, and I don't blame her. So I've been walking a little bit, and I'm not going out today. I'm not going in the car, and I thought I'd tell you guys about why that is. Maybe I should move to the sun, and not to the sun, to the shade. That would probably be smarter. And I apologize not for wearing makeup or anything like that, but let me talk to you. Oh God, I look so bad. Oh well, but you guys are getting used to that and you love me anyway. So we are in our, hi Peaches. Hello, where is she? Hello, little Lila. She's so good, just amazing. So anyway, I just want to talk to you about something that I've been learning with my physical therapist since I've been talking to you guys about pushing it and pushing it and pushing it now that I'm out and about and walking more, whereas I wasn't walking before. And you know, now that I've had the ganglion implant and now like my lower spine, so okay, I'm up again and I'm able to walk a little bit, right? Okay, so now I just don't have the leg strength. I have what is called like the literal, oh my gosh, there's a hawk or an eagle. Holy cow. Oh, see, I get to see stuff now. My husband was telling me he lives, well, he lives out in the country. He works out in the country. And that's the thing I want to tell you. Like, he was in big tech out in California. And I remember living in California and being upset because I had to close my business because I found out when we got married, there was like only 2 places that had big tech in California. 2, like that had his kind of big tech. But when we looked out, uh-oh, hold on. Oh, that's so cute. She chased a butterfly. She seems so nice when walking and slow, and then all of a sudden she just becomes this like moose and like charges. Like she can just charge for a butterfly, and she's the cutest thing, but she totally stays within the boundaries. Crazy. She's just fast as a whip. You know, I think she might be faster than the other 2 cats. She's big, but you would never know it. So, but don't let a butterfly come across her path, because then, bam. So she is the fastest when it comes to flyers in the house, like at night and stuff. If a flyer gets in the house, that flyer better watch out, because that's it. That's, you know, flyer is just what we call the little fluty things that get in the house if they ever get in the house, if we have to come in for a doctor's appointment late at night. So anyway, but in California with the big tech, like there were like 2 spots that did his kind of stuff. And I already took my meds. And so, hello Peaches, are you back? Are you done with the flyer? Yes, you are. Oh, there's another one. There's another one. So, but out here when we started looking on the East Coast, we couldn't believe how much there is like big tech in every single state. Like every state had big tech. And that's what I think Californians don't get. I don't think the whole country gets that, is there's big tech all over the East Coast. Like he found jobs in every state. He found jobs in like almost every state. And so today he was like in this company and like there's things like during the war they had to move inland and stuff like that to like stay away from mom. So there's places that you would never expect big tech to be, that there's big tech. And they're really looking for employees. And you know what's nice about the East Coast is that they give you a raise every single year. California, they're not giving raises. I now know that's because of illegal immigration. They don't have to raise the salaries. So salaries have been flat since 1990 out in California. Not on the East Coast. I remember getting here, my friends were like, can you believe I didn't get a raise last year? And I didn't understand what he was talking about. I was like, yeah, so no one gets a raise. No one's gotten a raise in 30 years. What are you talking about? No, it turns out they give a raise every single year. And he was so miffed that he hadn't gotten a raise in 1 year. Turns out, you know, they get raises every single year out here. That's like a normal part of it. And like clockwork, you know, my husband gets a raise every year. There's an actual like kick in. There's a raise for inflation every year. That's just the way the East Coast does it, you know? And so it's a totally different culture out here. And so there's big tech everywhere. So he's sitting there at his big tech desk in his nice, you know, big window or whatever, because he's boss. He's so amazing. And he has a wife like me, you know, and who encourages him and makes him the best he can be. And, you know, he has this big window and he looks out and 2 deer walk out. 2 deer. Like, and a baby walk out, and he's like, I just looked out, and he's like, the other day I saw a rabbit, and the other day, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, you know. So anyway, so what I wanted to tell you about the physical therapy, since we're in birthday week and I'm doing a video every day, is what I want to tell you about physical therapy and pushing it is that I learned that if you do that when you have, like, my leg weakness is that of a baby's, I've learned. I atrophied so badly that they said you have to think of your muscles, and I did. I felt it. I found out about my psoas muscle. It is literally, I felt it the other day when my husband was massaging it, and I was like, what the heck's that? And he's like, that's your muscle. And it felt like a cotton ball. It freaked me out. It really freaked me out. And so when I go out and I try to push it, there's two types. There's strength. There's two things that your muscles go through. There's strength and there's endurance. And so you're like, yeah, I can move again. Well, you have to develop strength and you have to do endurance. Strength is how much you can lift, and endurance is how lift for how long. So when I go out, I'm like, I go across my street to the lady who has the antique shop on her lawn or whatever. I go in there, and my PT lady actually said that. She's like, well, if you notice, you go out one day and you spend 2 hours out, and you're like, yeah, I spent it, but then maybe that night you don't get such good rest, and you kind of actually don't sleep that well, and then you go out again, and then maybe that time you only get to go out for an hour, and then, you know, your rest is a little bit, and then you kind of sleep all the night, but then the next day you're like, oh, I can't do anything. And I was like, she's talking about my life. She's like, yeah, you're wearing yourself out. You can't do that. And so now I'm watching my rest, and I'm like, man, I've been telling everyone to push it. Push it, push it, push it. No, like, you can't. You have to. Now I'm like, okay, so if I feel myself sleepy at night, I used to like push through it and keep working. I don't do that anymore. Like, now if I'm nodding off at all, I tuck in and I try to go to sleep right away. Like, now I know my muscles need to heal. Now I think of it as this. I literally, because when I was an athlete and when I was doing my champion dancing, I had to learn early on, like the older guys always told us, they were like, take care when we were young and we were stupid and we were running around and we get an injury and then we dance right through it or whatever. And they try and tell us, and then we'd have to learn the hard way. It happened every single generation, every single time. She's so cute. And every generation did it, and we never listened, and the next generation never listened, the next generation never listened. And then you learn, like, okay, you know, don't, you know, after the first injury, you learn, like, don't freaking ever push it if you get an injury. Like, that's it. When you get an injury, rest all the way through the injury until that injury's healed, or else it will follow you for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? And here we go, just a moment. Yeah, so anyway, so there's one spot that she likes to go under. She loves to go under the porch every time. And she tries it on Daddy all the time, but she doesn't try it on me. Today's the first day she tried it on me. And I was like, oh no, we don't have satellite. It's totally disconnected. Oh well. So that's from the old owner. So as if like we would ever have TV. Give me a break. So besides, it's so expensive. Satellite's ridiculous. Like, why would we ever? And then if you get a cloud overhead, like, pff, it's out. Like, I don't understand it. I think our society could go so much further. And they just don't. You know what I mean? Like, we have free energy. We could be off of light bulbs completely. Okay, I'm getting on to another thing. So, yeah, so anyway, just don't push it. So now, like today, it's the day after we did our big trip to get my procedure on my knee, and my knee is feeling incredible. Like, my knee feels so good. It feels better than it has in like 9 years. It really, really does. And I'm like, yay, let's go to like the lady across the street. And I'm like, no. Like, my legs feel kind of weak. And I'm like, hold it back. So I'm just doing a walk with Lila today. And I'm letting my body rest up from yesterday. So I just wanted to talk to you guys about that. And like, build your endurance, but don't push it too far. Like, you have to treat it like an injury. Like, I'm treating my legs like injuries now. I'm treating them as injuries and like nursing them back to health. So I'm just like, yes, push it. Like, if you can move, you have to move. You have to move, but don't move until you have to stop. Because if you move until you have to stop, which is what I do, I have always moved until I had to stop. But the problem is that what will happen is every day you will move and move less until you go into some kind of an episode. And then you never build strength. It just never, you fail yourself that way. And so you move a little bit each day, and you let your body heal every day, and you try to get as much rest as possible, which I get it. It's hard because all you've been doing is resting for years or decades or whatever, and you don't want to do that. I get it. It's really hard, but I can tell. I'm like, okay, there's fatigue in my limbs. Okay, it's really tired. So I'm like, just go for a walk. So I just want to talk to you guys about that, about pushing it and stuff like that. And so I'm being good today. I'm just taking it easy. I'm walking with Lila, but I can tell my legs need it. My legs need it because we did a lot of driving yesterday. You guys will find out what I did yesterday. I did a lot, and I did it for you guys. I did a really, really special trip. I think it was a really important trip to do. I did a really, really, really special trip, but I was in the car for a really long time on my side, and my legs were being bounced and my spine was being bounced for an extraordinary amount of time, and she is not even thinking about the porch again. No, she is not. Excuse me. She was determined. She was determined. So I thought she wouldn't go back in the house. Nope. I tried to put her back in the house. She jumped right back out. And then she tried to go to the porch again. And I was like, and we are done. You are going in the house. So it is over. So I am finishing up out here and letting my legs get a little bit more stretching. But I'm just keeping it really simple, you guys, and just kind of like letting my legs walk a little bit. But I was in the car for so long yesterday, hours and hours and hours. And I'm glad I did it. I'm really glad I did it. And we got out of the car and I walked a bit more. But I'm like, okay, give the legs some rest now because they're very baby. Like they're very, very, very weak. They're very weak. And I remember like going back in after my procedure to my PT specialist. And she's like, how are you doing? And I was like, so great, right? And I gave her this whole report and I had like this mobility thing and my test score went up to 22. Out of 80, you know, in my leg, and she was like, you look so good. And I stood up and everyone in the entire place looked at me like they didn't know how tall I was. I was like standing upright and the whole room was like, who are you? Like, I remember one lady from the front desk walked in and she froze and looked at me. Now it was really hard for me because I wasn't ready for that. It was really hard to see that, like to see someone look shocked with me just standing upright. That was really rough. And I was like, how have I been standing? And she's like, you're so tall. And I was like, well, how have I been, what have I been doing? And then of course I had an episode right in there and I had to be wheeled out on a thing. And I was like, oh, they're used to seeing me like below desk level. And I forget how often I get wheeled out of there because it's hard for me to just get in there and I wear out just being there and I get wheeled out of there. And yeah, the last few times I've had to be wheeled out of there, and you do what you can. You do what you can. And so, but yeah, I got in there and they were so happy and she was so excited. She's like, this procedure's been great. That's wonderful for the ganglion impar for the lower spine. And then the second time I got in there, after like a week of like getting up and doing all these activities, I didn't come in there like that. I came in there hunched over like this craggly old woman, like with my cane and everything, and just kind of like whimpering in there. And that's because I pushed it. I mean, I understand that now. And she's like, then she took my pain levels. And it was the week before I had said, I think my lowest has been a 4. This time, I didn't get to give that great of a report. My report wasn't so great. And I know why that is now. She's really teaching me a lot. And I thought I should share that with you guys. And so you can understand like what we're going through and like how to help you guys in your own PT journey. And PT is physical therapy. I don't know if I've ever said that, but PT is physical therapy. And understand like what it takes and how to slow yourself down in order to get better in the long run, not in the short term. That's great that you can finally get out of this house. And I hate it because I cried when she told me how to slow it down. I really cried because she's basically telling me like, you can't leave the house as much. And I just cried because I was just like, but I want to leave. Like, I want to leave the house, you know, like I want to get out of the house and I want to shop. And I want to go see, like, I want to get pants again because I want to go back to work. I want to go back to work so badly. Like, I want to earn money. Our bills are so high now, you know, like, our bills are just killing us. And I just really want to, like, earn a living again to, like, pay back all this thing we're drowning underneath, you know, to catch up on 9 years of this hell. So, you know, that's why I'm, like, getting the jewelry and stuff. Now I need pants, but I don't know what the heck I fit in. You know what I mean? And I didn't want to buy online. It's so expensive compared to what you can get in a thrift shop. You know, in a thrift shop, you can get a pair of pants for $4. You know, and so I'm just like, God, I want to go out. Like, I don't want to be trapped online spending $20 on a pair of pants. But, you know, like, it's just like, you gotta stay in. And I know that's hard, you guys. I know that's really hard. You know, but I want to be able to take a shower again. And this is the stuff that we have to do. It's just what we have to do. And you're not alone. I'm sure if you have a really good physical therapist, they're telling you the exact same thing. And you're not alone. You're not alone. You have to move in order. And you're going to, in the beginning, it's going to be hell. But no matter what you do, no matter how slow you do it, no matter how slow you do it. But I know now that if you're doing exercises in a way where you go into every single time, you've got to ask for a different way to do the exercises. You've got to ask for different ways. There are other ways to do the exercises. You got to cut them back. Like right now, those 6 that I do, I don't do them every day now. Now I do them every other day. And we've traded them out. Like I go on for a walk with Lila instead of doing those exercises because I don't get so jittery. So right now, I'm not building the strength. I'm building my endurance. You know, and both of those things are equally important. And when I get my endurance up, then I can build my strength up, etc., etc. And so, you know, and yeah, I take falls again. Like for the first time in the longest time, the doctor asked at the appointment yesterday, have you fallen? And before I was like, yeah, I haven't fallen in a year. Yeah, I haven't fallen in a year. I had to say, yeah, no, I've fallen. You know, I fell. You know, like I was just standing there talking to my husband and I just like fell. Like I just fell out of nowhere. Just lost my balance just standing there and just boom, like took a header just standing. That happens. Like thank God there was nothing in our way, you know, but those things happen. That sucks. But it's par for the course to get on an active life again, and it's worth it because the opposite is death. I mean, we know that now. The opposite is death. And thank God I'm alive. I'm so glad I'm alive. I'm so glad I'm out here seeing butterflies with Lila in this amazing, amazing sun and seeing my tree and seeing a hawk that I didn't get to see. We've lived here for so long now. And I'm just like, a hawk. God, I should have been seeing that my first week living here. You know, like those are the things I should have been seeing. You know, we moved here, like I should have been seeing that. And this is good. So this is all worth it. So what, you know? So keep on going, but just apply some of these techniques and you will be able to get longevity out of it. See, like cows. I get to see cows. Cows. This is just the coolest thing in the world. Cows. I love it. I love where I live. And by the way, a ton of Californians, like there is a huge rate of Californians that are leaving California, but all they're moving to is like Arizona and Washington. And I'm like, that's not leaving California. I'll be honest, when I moved here, a ton of my friends started moving. And I am telling you, like, have you even checked out the East Coast? Have you tried it? Catch a flight, and just try out the South. Like, try out the South. I'm not kidding. Try out North Carolina. The best customer service I've ever received is in North Carolina. By far, best customer service I ever received is North Carolina. And I'm just like, what must the hospitals be like? I love South Carolina. I've never been treated better by men anywhere on the planet except for South Carolina. Don't know why that is, but the men treat me better there than anywhere else. Any age, they're all just so good to me. Everyone says hello. Georgia's beautiful. Georgia's just beautiful. And some of my favorite writers live there. And have you just tried it? And then New England, geez, there's so much. I mean, I talk crap about New England, but New England's changed a lot. You know what I mean? Like, I talk crap about its history and stuff, but have you, like, and I know their voting fraud systems have been going over, but there are people who are trying to change it, and that doesn't, it's the higher ups that are doing that. It's not the people themselves. Most of the people themselves don't know it. Like, it's really kept hid from them. If you go amongst those people, you know, like, that's what we've been trying to do on these longer drives. And the people are good people. You know, we're trying to go into those areas, into the New England areas, you know, and see what's there. And the people are just so nice. Like, the people are, you know, it's not like California at all. And the country is so beautiful. Have you seen Pennsylvania? Have you driven some of those highways? I mean, have you seen South Dakota? Seriously, have you driven the 90 in South Dakota? Have you? Have you driven the 90 in South Dakota? Have you seen the Corn Palace? Have you seen 1880-10? Have you seen the Black Hills? Have you even seen Wyoming? Have you seen Yellowstone? Do you even know what the Grand Tetons are? Are you aware of America? Are you aware that it's something other than California? Are you aware that it is not some inner city trash ghetto, that it is stunning and glorious and beautiful? Oklahoma, my God, Oklahoma was like, Oklahoma, I couldn't believe the way they treated their kids. That was what really hit me and my husband about Oklahoma, was we've never seen kids treated better. And their public libraries were amazing to visitors. Public libraries were amazing to videos. If we ever need to do our work when we were on the road for consulting and stuff, we always like hitting their libraries, because we could sit there and hook up and do all this stuff. There was more we could do at a public library in Oklahoma. We could like sit there and take down and do whatever research, and they had more outlets than the hotel did. And we were like, screw this, we're doing this. And we could meet a ton of people. We were just like, this is amazing. I mean, it was just, and it was somebody at a restaurant that recommended it. And we were just like, what the heck? You know, and it was just, and the way they talked to their kids in the restaurant, and we're talking like every age and race there, and they would talk to their kids, like really talk to their kids. And you don't notice, like everywhere beyond California, you know, like you don't know a kid is in the booth next to you. In California, the kids dip their hand in butter and tip it in your hair. And the parents don't even apologize for it, you know, like they just reach on over and they're screaming like banshees and stuff like that. And yeah, that's branching out into East. The more that they do sanctuary states, especially sanctuary states, the more that they do that, the more you get screaming banshee kids, because all the liberal women are like, oh, we'll take them in, and they don't understand what they're doing. And they're just flooding it, and they think they're so holy and everything, and they don't have any clue that these kids have been stolen and sold from their parents. They have no idea that a kid is sold like every single minute, one kid a minute. And it's been trafficked for $7,000 because of how much money they make off of these traffickers. They don't ever look anywhere further beyond it. And now countries are selling kids. Did you know that? Countries are trading these kids. They're like, do you want to take 25 kids? The countries themselves. I mean, that's modern day slavery, you know? But I mean, go. And that's why I say, forget the cities. Have you gone? Have you gone into the countries and seen like where these homesteaders are and seen the land? Do you hear that? I mean, do you hear that? Like, do you hear this? Like, do you hear, like, do you see that rustling in the trees? Like, do you hear, like, do you see that sun? Like, do you understand? Like, I feel like I live in a national park every single day. Like, seriously, when I look outside, I'm like, I live in a national park. And that's just clean air. California is 50th in pollution. Get the heck out. And the whole East Coast is like this. They take care of it. They take care of it. Florida's the same way. You know, probably because it's raining every other second and just drenching out, like it rains every single second and just drenches away all whatever pollution's there. You know, and stuff. So like, I mean, every single state is glorious. And have you looked? Have you really looked? Why don't you get online and look at the real estate that's available? Like, have you looked in Middle America? Have you ever thought of having a stretching long piece of land? And if you think it's really cheap, let me be very clear. If you think the land is super cheap, check out the property taxes. That's the one thing I will say. Most land that's cheap, they do have property taxes. It balances out in property taxes. That's why I say my land is less. It's less than California, yes. But when you add on the property taxes, it's still less, but it's not like, oh, hundreds of dollars of less. I'm still saving from California, especially when you add in all the things I save on water and sewage and all of that. But I'm just saying, like, you know, I still have, you know, acreage, whereas I was like stuck up with this, you know, where I couldn't see out my window with 50 million dogs screaming around me every single day, you know, and I had kids that would like a daycare next to me where they come and take huge longboards and just swat our house and just hit the mirrors and hit the boards and hit the thing. And if you ask the kids to stop, the parents would come out and scream at you. Oh yeah, What are you doing? Like I said, binoculars to see the next neighbor. Why? It's green, and it's green all the time, and there's seasons. I don't know how I got onto that. It was supposed to be about strength versus whatever. All right, I think the air got to me. The clean air got to me. All right, peace out, guys. Happy birthday to Book of Katherine. I love you all. Have fun voting, and don't fall for all the MSN stuff that's sending you all the voting information. They know that you love voting now. They know that you're getting empowered, and they're going to try and make you scared. Why don't you look at it? Like, if they say they're closing polling stations, you should really look at, like, think about all the stuff they may be omitting. Lie by omission is the biggest lie they tell nowadays. Oh, listen to that gorgeous wind. All right, I should go inside because my legs have been upset. You know, I've worn them out. Do you see what I mean? Like, I've done my max. This is about as much as I can take. I've done 15 minutes. That's a big difference. I used to only do 5 to 10. This is 15 minutes. I'm out. Love you guys. Bye. Muah.